This insight is looking at how I use video. I frequently get the question from students, can you take a look at my recent video? And I'll usually respond, okay, what's going on? You know, what are you hoping to accomplish from looking at the video? Usually it's because they're just lost and they're not really sure what they want to do. But I try to train my students so that they can ultimately have a reason for doing anything that they're trying to do. So the times when you want to use video, absolutely when you feel lost, when you don't know what pattern you've fallen into, when you're kind of just getting started and you don't know how you create speed, how you control the face, how you control the path, or if you've developed kind of a new series of misses and your drills that have worked in the past aren't really solving the issue anymore, you can now use video. So in general, I use video more when things are going bad, when things are going good. So if a student tells me, hey, everything's great, but I'm including a video where you take a look at it, I'll say, that's probably not the best use of our time to nitpick and figure out, hey, something doesn't look right, unless it's related to a contact, a direction, and like a performance issue. That's when I want to use video. So when I do get a video and we've decided, hey, I want to look at it and identify the pattern, there's three major areas that I'm going to look at. I'm going to look for power, I'm going to look for path, and I'm going to look for face. So power typically shows up in both the face on and the down the line camera view. Power is going to show up by about there. So the movements that the body is making to get the club roughly to delivery position give me a great idea of how this golfer wants to create speed, how this golfer is going to ultimately create power. So then we can move on to path. And path, I think, is the fun one because path kind of blends both ends in both camera views. So I want to look at path from both face on and down the line. And path is really going to show up to me from about delivery position to that follow-through position. Between those two, I can see what movements you're going to use to ultimately organize how this club path is swinging. Now, club face is the tricky one. You're primarily going to want to look at down the line, and club face is largely going to be from right about here, so just after transition, to right about here, just after delivery position. You can see, for the most part, what that golfer is doing from the down the line camera angle, what they're doing with their club face, and then oftentimes a lot of these things that you'll see at impact that kind of look odd are really a compensation for either a face or a path that's out of position, or a reaction to how that golfer created power. So real quick, power is kind of that first little phase, face is going to be that middle phase, and then path is going to be that late phase kind of through there. The only other time that I like to use video is when I'm hitting the ball the best that I've ever hit it, and then I'm not going to analyze it, I'm just going to capture it and save it for that next rainy day when my game isn't quite where I want it to, and I can use this now as my benchmark. So don't get obsessed with trying to hit perfect positions, perfect lines. Use video to get a picture of your overall pattern, and then use contact and the feedback on the range and on the course to see if you're actually progressing, as opposed to looking at video, which may mask the subtle changes that are really critical for the difference between your good and your bad shots within any pattern.